Welcome, howdy. We're going to make probably the most common paper aircraft in existence. You'll see it in classrooms, you'll see it in cartoons. If you ask random people to make a paper airplane, they'll probably make something similar to this. When people say paper airplane, it's an image of this aircraft, I think, that normally pops into their mind. Never mind that it's not necessarily the highest performing paper aircraft, not necessarily the best paper aircraft. Let's not worry about that. We're just going to make it. Alright, first steps first. Uh-oh. There go my hands. Fat fingers. Alright. Fold it in half. Golden rule paper aircraft. One side, you want to be exactly the same as the other side. What you do onto one side, you must do onto the other side. It's a rule of thumb, not a hard rule. There are no hard rules in paper aircraft making. But you want to be careful, because the general rule of thumb for all paper, or for all aircraft really, is that they want to be symmetrical. So I make sure that my paper lines up with themselves. If both sides line up with themselves all the way down, this crease, this spotted crease, will probably be just about the center of the paper. Paper's not going to be perfect, and your fold's probably not going to be perfect, but you can get close. And you want to try and get close. Alright, make sure it's nice and clean, then we open it up, and there we go, we can see both sides real cleanly. We're going to know that everything we do on this side, we're going to do on this side, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take this side, right here, this line up here at the top. I want this line to match up with the crease line at the middle. Our crease line is going to be our guide for now. Alright, I'm not going to crease it all the way there. I'm going to leave myself just this tiny smidge of wiggle room. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've played with this a little bit. I want a little bit of wiggle room so that I got a little bit of space up here at the top. Alright? Up here at the tip. It's not going to be a hard tip up here. There's going to be a little tiny gap. And I do that purely so I know that I have a little bit of wiggle room that I can work with to make the aircraft more symmetrical if I need to. And I think I may have messed something up here, but we'll see. It should come out fine in the end. This is a paper aircraft that's not known for its super high performance. Alright, you see this, right? That step. Alright? Skipped over exactly what I did there, but I'm taking this line right here and I'm bringing it back to the crease line in the middle. So I'm going to do that on the other side. Once again, just a smidgen of wiggle room. You can see it much more clearly here. This side and this side don't quite meet. There's a little bit of empty space right here. That's so that I can make the aircraft more symmetrical if I need to. And I'll show you how I can check if the aircraft is symmetrical in a couple of ways. Alright, down here, you see, I'm going to use my finger to measure. My finger is a little bit wider than the space right here, but my pinky is about the same size, same width right there. But on the other side, my finger is about the same width, a little bit thinner than this side. So I know that this side is a little bit looser than this side. So I'm going to tighten this guy down a little bit. I'm going to recrease just a smidge. Try and make this guy, this side, a little bit tighter so my aircraft is more symmetrical. Be careful recreasing. Every time you recrease, you're adding a little tiny bit of asymmetry to your aircraft, but sometimes it's worth it to reduce a greater asymmetry. Alright, at this point, I'd say you're done making paper aircraft. I'd say fold the wings. But I am taking for granted how you fold the wings. I give somebody this who's not experienced, I say fold the wings. There's all manner of terrible things they can do to it. They could curl these over a surface, like over this surface. They'd curl this, they'd say that's a wing. They could fold this, and they could say that's a wing. It's not a wing. The rule of thumb for folding wings that I take for granted, and have taken granted for in the past, keep in mind, look right here. You can see a tiny bit of asymmetry. You can see just the other side of the wing just barely peeking over this wing, and you can't on the other side. Whatever. Close enough for government work. All right, for wings, the rule of thumb, take this line right here, bring it down to the leading edge of the wing. That's probably the right way to say it. Fold it down to this guy right here. The bottom of the fuselage, the empennage, I don't know. Those don't sound right, so part where you hold it, where you can't hold it no more. Leading edge to where you can't hold it no more. This spot. You see. You can see, and so you know. Hopefully my words don't mislead. My words mislead me. Alright, I can do the same thing on the other side. And, by the way, this little spot right here, I can see the wing on this side. The other wing, first wing, guides the second. And that's probably close enough. Alright. At the tip, it's going to be hard to get the fold just right. At tips of paper aircraft, typically the paper gets denser and it's less likely to want to be folded, but that's okay. Alright. So, make sure it's tight on both sides, and we aren't done yet. Alright, you see this guy? He's not perfect. So I've seen people just go with this paper aircraft. They think it's done here. Don't do that. This aircraft does not correct itself. It sort of anti-corrects itself. If it rolls this way, it'll keep rolling this way because this wing gets more air under it each time, has more area that it's using to lift itself as it rolls. And the aircraft's going to roll back and forth as you throw it anyway. So what we do to avoid that, to avoid this sort of, I hesitate to say unstable scenario, but I think it is an unstable scenario. It's a scenario where the aircraft hurts itself. We're going to do this. We're going to sort of uncrease the wings just a smidge. Make it so that they puff up a little bit. They go up. That way when we throw this thing, if it rolls this way, the airplane self-corrects because this wing goes to become more flat, and the flatter wing is always the wing that's going to generate more lift. Or rather, the wing that has more area, because as it becomes this, it's less of a wing and more of just... You get that the closer to a flat line the thing is, the closer to a wing it is, right? So we want to be just a little bit pointed up so that the closest to being a wing you are is when you roll a little bit. That way you self-correct yourself back. Alright, anyway, there you go. There you have it. That is probably the most famous paper aircraft, most common paper aircraft. In terms of performance, you can throw it really hard. You can throw it not so hard. It'll fly pretty okay in both ways. It'll fly about 10 to 15 to 20 feet on average. That's probably between, in meters, 3 to 6, 3 to 7 meters. It's not too terribly far. They're a better aircraft by a lot. Honestly, I've gotten these things to fly 30 to 45 feet. That's 10 to 15 meters before, but that's rare. That's not every one of these I make. They take a little bit tweaking, so don't worry too much about whether this aircraft flies too great. Try it a couple times. You'll see some fly better than others. Importantly, I would call this the standard because if you can make an aircraft better than this, it's a good paper airplane. If you can't make a paper airplane better than this, it's probably not a great paper airplane. So there you go. There you have it, the quote-unquote standard paper aircraft. Good luck. Try designing your own. Compare it to this thing. This thing's a all right benchmark. Peace.